So let's start off with a formal definition of spirituality. Spirituality is a behavioral mindset. Mindset on what? That's what we will cover in this video. But to start off, spirituality is a behavioral mindset. You see, you acquire tendencies that manifest into behaviors over your lifetime, right from when you are a child. As you grow up, you watch others, you watch your parents, the environment around you, your own intellectual decision making, your own interest in what gratifies you versus what pleases you versus what doesn't make you happy. All of these come into play, and you develop and you demonstrate these tendencies that in turn lead to behaviors and actions. These tendencies accumulate over time, and they essentially firm up your mindset in how you approach life altogether. Now, we will talk a little bit more later in this channel around how these tendencies come across multiple lifetimes, because we believe we are on this channel in the Gita and the Upanishads. And in the Gita and the Upanishad, life is a continuum. This body is one phase of that continuum. This physical body, or in this shape and form, is one phase of that continuum. But life itself, that soul energy that we spoke about, itself is a continuum that keeps going on. And tendencies develop over lifetimes. But in the current lifetime, in this current instance, you have tendencies that you develop. So spirituality is the behavioral mindset on how you demonstrate and how you transform those tendencies into actions. Because you could demonstrate these tendencies into behaviors at two levels. Take the first level. First level is you act based on what's right there in front of you. You make some judgment calls on how you see. You make some impressions about things as you experience, and the next time you experience that same event or that same individual or that same incident, the previous impressions, you just go and demonstrate it again. So you are essentially this, in the spiritual world, you call this the material plane, or this earthly level, as you want to call it. That is the first level where you demonstrate these tendencies in that manner. But then there is a second level, which is a bit of a higher level, where yes, you have tendencies. Yes, you have impressions that you have formed about an incident or a situation, but you take the opportunity of every situation to reflect, to think, and you act. And that is where you give it a pause before you act. And in that pause, you're actually not making a judgment call, but you are making sure you're putting like a check and validating your impressions, getting your prefrontal cortex to work and think. And that is that intellectual discriminating faculty that you're developing. That is the higher plane. So spirituality is a behavioral mindset that essentially operates in that higher plane. Now, of course, there are some mundane tasks where you don't need that all the time, but then there are clearly many moments of the day where you would need it. Take a simple example. Let me make it a little bit practical here for you to see how you can see this in action. Let us say you're going for a job interview for a certain company. Now, you would do some research about that company, isn't it? You would go beyond what you have heard about that company. You probably would talk to individuals who work in that company. So you're putting your intellectual discriminating faculty into motion. You're getting more insights about the company. You're looking at their financial reports. You're looking at what is the news talking about them. You're looking at who manages that company. What is the profile of the CEOs and the C-level leadership and all of that. That's what you would want to do. And by the way, if you're not doing that when you're going for the next job interview, please start doing that. because that's exactly what will make you more successful there. So that is how you start there. So you're developing and you're putting that intellectual mindset into work. Then the second thing, when you are actually going and talking to an individual in that company for the interview, you can adopt two different approaches. The first level, or the first earthly plane, as I was describing, which is you're all tensed up, you're going there saying, I need to answer this question, I need to be fully prepared, all of that stuff, and you're in a tense mode. That is one way of dealing with it. Versus the second higher plane, which is, I know my value, I'm going to go there and share the value I bring to that company. I am going to seek to understand how that company fits with my value system. I'm going to seek to understand what that company has to offer to me. And I'm going there to have a good discussion. That is the higher plane mindset you can adopt. That second plane mindset is a spiritual mindset. The first plane mindset is a routine, non-spiritual mindset. Nothing right or wrong. I'm just trying to help you understand the difference between a spiritual mindset and a non-spiritual mindset, even in one of your daily operational activities. And of course, going for a job interview is indeed a key moment or a key activity in your life. Now, once you go ahead and do that interview, back to a spiritual mindset, you would not keep anticipating on the outcome. Instead, you would say, I've done my best, I've given my best, I've shared my value that I can bring to that company. Now let's wait for the outcome, because the outcome is really not in your hands. There's like 100 things that have to line up for you to get to an outcome. The hiring manager has to see you to be a right fit for the culture. Probably the company should have the budget and should continue with the budget to hire for a role. There should not be any external influence on that company or an external event that can happen that may probably derail the company hiring or growth plans. All of those pieces have to come in play for you to get that role. So you don't have to really keep thinking or getting tense about the outcome. You do your best and you hand over the outcome. That is what a spiritual mindset is. That is a behavioral tendency that you would demonstrate. So spirituality is a behavioral mindset. Now, what I have done is I am giving you 10 different aspects for you to think about that can help you say, where am I on that spiritual journey? Doesn't mean you're right, you're wrong, doesn't mean you're low on that journey or high on that journey. I just want to give you 10 different aspects for you to just do a self-reflection and do a self-measurement. The first one is, we looked at divinity and we said it's made of those 8 fundamental elements and 20 different emotions, infinite permutations and combinations. A spiritual mindset will look at the unity behind the divinity, that diversity, because now it becomes a diverse world when you put all of that together. A spiritual mindset will say, where is the unity behind it? And you will go beyond what you see in front of you. You will see the common fabric that connects you. So that is the first one. Second thing is, you will start developing this mindset of having more personal experiences. Back to what I was talking about, mindfulness. When you're drinking that cup of water the next time, you're actually taking the time to enjoy the taste, look at the color of that water. So you're taking the time to understand and to appreciate the divinity in everything that you're doing. There's a couple of more I'll go through, but I've put up the list of 10 on the screen here for you to read. The next 2 that I would really like is to make sure that you're demonstrating and you're constantly watching, are you demonstrating spirituality through your thoughts and actions? Which is, are you in that first level or that first plane, or are you at the higher plane in your thoughts and actions, particularly in those actions that matter and that are significant? Not the mundane routine actions, but things that really you can really enjoy in doing so, and you can definitely apply to even the routine mundane actions as well. The other one that I really want to talk about and just take a few seconds on that is distinguishing between love and attachment. Love and attachment. you can love an object, you can love an individual without having attachment for that. So a simple example of a spiritual behavioral mindset is, as a parent, I absolutely love my child, but I don't need to be so attached that even when the child is doing something that's not right, because of the attachment, I tend to ignore it or I tend to dismiss it off. But instead, I always love knowing pretty well that my responsibility as a parent is to take care of my child, is to impart good behaviors, is to share those good behaviors. Whether the child will follow that or not is a whole different discussion, because at the end of the day, each individual is unique. So because I did it doesn't mean that the outcome is what I want, but at least from a spiritual mindset, I have done my part of it. So distinguishing between love and attachment is the other key aspect that absolutely needs to be developed as part of a spiritual mindset. Again, I've given the list of 10 that you can see it on the screen. Now, how does spirituality differ from religion? Spirituality actually is on its own parallel track of religion. A spiritualist does not discount or shun religion at all. In fact, for a spiritualist, it doesn't matter, because for a spiritualist, religion is actually a vehicle that will help him or her develop a discipline. In that sense, a spiritualist truly complements and uses religion more as an enabler versus trying to have a debate about religion or even start engaging in a conversation of fault finding and all of those. That's not the realm of a spiritualist at all. For the spiritualist, religion is out there. It's helping me connect to a community. Religion has a set of do's and don'ts. Religion has a set of practices. Let me leverage that to help instill a self-discipline in my own behavioral mindset. That's how they would leverage religion for. Remember, spirituality is an experience. It's a mindset. Through the actions and thoughts you experience, that's how you know, are you a spiritual individual or not. What is the other thing that we said is also an experience? Divinity. Divinity is also an experience. So when you are a spiritual person, when you are in that spiritual experience, you are in fact having a divine experience in this life, in this world itself. To close out, Krishna in chapter 7, verse 19, says this beautiful, has this beautiful verse where Krishna says, Vasudevam Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabhaha. Translated, what it basically means is the fact that everything is in this divinity and going beyond what you see right in front of you, but going beyond that, having that discriminative faculty and seeing that unity in that diversity. Such type of individuals, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabhaha, such type of individuals are in fact very few indeed.